The difference between the older concept of doing a turn and then doing another turn, where you're heading is totally different to that. Where you're heading is linking one arc into the next arc, into the next arc. And one of the difficulties with the old turn idea was that what people did was a turn, followed by a turn, which implies there's something else in between. And what there used to be as a something else in between was a long straight line. So you went turn, long straight line while the skis accelerated like mad, and then an attempt to do another turn when you were going even faster than you wanted to in the first place. And this is very different. When we're talking about pushing the beetle's face into the snow or pressing his feet in so he gets a better grip, we're going to link, one arc comes this way round, but we don't want to follow that forever. Sooner or later we want to change direction. We want to put in another arc because that's where all the fun is. So that next arc's going to come round here. Now we start saying, okay, well, wait a minute. If we let the ski just drift at this first one, the first arc will just let the ski drift, and it drifts into here, and at this point on the arc, when the ski's pointing straight down the flow line, at that point is when you sink on the beetle, and then you come around here and you squeeze the grape, and now we're all sort of, we're at our most sort of folded up, we've got the most flex in our legs. Now we've got a lot of extension potential. When do we extend? Round about here. You can do it there, you could do it there, but before you get into the flow line, we're going to extend our leg purely and simply to try and push our beetle slightly further into the snow. And the instant you do, that's when you take control. So it goes like this. Beetle, grape, the other beetle, because you've got two skis, the other beetle.
So the other beetle is the other foot.
The other foot, yeah. So on this arc here, I'm sinking, as you think about it, I'm sinking onto my right ski. So I'm sinking onto that grape. And this is going to be the new beetle that I press into the snow about there. That will immediately start the ski coming round this way. It'll be gentle at first, it won't be a sudden movement. It'll gradually develop. We stay trying to press that beetle into there until we get to here, then we sink on him. We sink on this same beetle, and then it comes round here and we squeeze this grape. When we get here, we're now squeezing this grape. We're going to want this ski to be the outer one. So once we squeeze that grape, we press this beetle. Then we wait, we sink on him, comes down this way. So that's the sequence. And it's just to demonstrate it for you. If I'm coming around towards you, I'm going to be folded up. I've got lots of flex in the legs. I'm squeezing this grape. It isn't this beetle I want to squeeze. Next, I want to press this new one, this one, into the snow. And the instant I do, the ski will begin to change direction. Take time, and then we sink on that beetle. So it's not like walking, it's a lot more like skipping.
Yeah.
Because it's beetle, beetle, grape, beetle, beetle, grape. Are you happy with that? Is that clear in your mind? Can you visualise yourself doing it?
Yes.
Definitely.
Because I'm going to ask you to visualise it. Yeah? It's an extraordinary thing, this. These are so simple, aren't they? Sink, extend. Sink, extend. What about sink where? Well, sink on the beetle. Yeah, then what? Well, sink on the grape. All right, then what? Then extend the leg and press the beetle, and then sink on the beetle. And you think, God, how difficult can it be? I go, beetle, 1, 2, grape. Do you remember yesterday when you first tried it?
Yep.
You went, sinking on the beetle. Yeah, got this, cracked it.
Yeah.
Sinking on the beetle, got that, yeah. What's next? Next is this grape. Yeah, what do? We squeeze the grape. Right. Then you actually go and try and do it, and you think, oh my God, this is really this is getting a bit complicated. You actually said so, Jess, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're an extremely intelligent woman.
Oh, thank you.
But in this situation, doing that simple thing of going beetle, 1, 2, grape, You think, hang on a bit, have I got this right? Are my hands in the right place? Wait a minute. And it's extraordinary how, at first, how difficult it is to do, and yet it's so simple. So was there anything else from yesterday that, you know, cropped up?
Well, that's probably a good point, is when you get to that point when you're desperately trying to remember all the different steps, but maybe whilst you're skiing you find it difficult. How should we best deal with that?
Well, it's just repetition, really. I mean, that's where practice comes in. Practice doesn't make perfect. Only perfect practice makes perfect. What practice does is make permanent. The more times you do something, the better you're going to get at it. So if it's not the best thing, you'll get very good at not doing the best thing. And that's the way humans are. So it is only practice and repetition. What helps, I believe what helps, is visualizing beforehand. Running through it, running through it, running through it. What's this going to feel like? What's the sequence going to be? I'm going to go, then I'm going to go, push his face into the snow, right, wait, then sink on the same beetle, right, so it's press, sink, sink again. Beetle, wait, beetle, grape. Talk to yourself as you do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Have you ever watched the ski racing on the TV? Have you seen any of those shots where behind the start hut there's an area that they rope off, and in it are the skiers, the racers who are waiting for their turn to race? Have you watched them? How many times they're in there? They've got their eyes closed. They've got they're sunk down, and they're going. And you see, and they're actually doing the entire race in their head. The reason they do it, this is kind of neuroscience. When they do that, when you're imagining this, you are developing a neural pathway where each neuron fires off in sequence related to the previous neuron, and the ones that you are using when you're imagining it, it is precisely the same neural pathway that you'll use when you're on the snow. There was actually a case, I think it was Peekaboo Street, who's an American downhiller, and she had the most frightful accident, and she was in hospital for, I think, 5 months. And about 6 months after she came out of hospital, she won the World Championships. And she, and she was asked, somebody said, how on earth did you come to win the World Championship when you'd had so little practice? And she said, so little practice? I've done nothing else but practice. She said, I've had more practice than my competitors. I've been lying in bed and I've been skiing 18 hours a day. And that's purely because she was building these neural pathways. I thought that was a fantastic answer.
Yeah, definitely.
So just to extend your point there in terms of how do you practice, how do you get better at it? I mean, thinking about prior to coming on a skiing holiday, and you talk about the mirror before, I guess you're just adding another element to the things you practice in front of the mirror at home.
Yes, exactly.
So if somebody's at home thinking, you know, I've been away from skiing since the last holiday I had a year ago, you know, maybe a month before, they can start to prepare by practicing in the mirror.
Oh, I wish people would. There'd be a lot more really good skiers about if they did. But they seem to say everybody waits until they get on the snow and then hope it goes okay. And it doesn't always. No,
so would that lead to a more enjoyable holiday then, really, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we always used to say, if you go and spend, if you go to, in our case it was plastic slopes, you know, if you go to the plastic slope and you can get some idea of how to ski, that's like having an extra week's skiing holiday, if you know what I mean, because you don't start off at point zero, you start off somewhere up the ladder, and it really made a difference. This would make even more.
Wow.
But the trick to it is, of course, you've got to know what it is you're going to want to do, and most folk don't know. They've never been told what to do. Or if they've been told something that doesn't really work terribly well. So then you have to unlearn it and all of that stuff. But no, that's what programming the missile is all about. When I say, well, you know, before you set off, program the missile. What's the intention? How will I know? I'm in a good ready for action posture. Let's go.
Excellent.
And that again, it's a simple sequence. And the only thing it takes is discipline. To say, no, this is what I'm going to be doing. And your skiing will you'll just, oh, I mean, if you feel competitive, you know, you're going to be a heck of a lot better skier than almost everybody you meet in a surprisingly short time.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. Have I talked enough? Probably too much. Shall we do it?
Yeah,
Let's
please.
good.
Get excited.